Hello, welcome to Estuary TV News with me, James Dunn. In today's show, a locally made film hopes to get even bigger and better. And our guests talk about symptoms and treatments for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But first, here's Dan Kemp with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, we hear about Humberside Police's new technology designed to keep bobbies on the beat and a sellout big swing band event coming to Grimsby. The occupants of a home in Grimsby ignored their smoke alarm after believing the batteries to be faulty, only to be notified by neighbours that there was actually a fire. The incident happened at 8:05 on Sunday evening on Saltergate. The unknown offender started a fire in a wheelie bin located in a bin cupboard belonging to a ground floor flat. It then caused an electricity box and cabling to catch fire, with smoke then entering the building. Humberside Police are appealing for witnesses and are encouraging people to come forward. It's not all about the number of officers you have, it's about how you use them. That's the message at the launch of the new project by Humberside Police. The introduction of mobile technology like laptops to police officers on the beat means that each officer should get up to 2 extra hours per day on the beat. £200,000 is being funded by the force itself, with £1.4 million coming from the government. Police and Crime Commissioner Matthew Grove emphasised the benefits of this new technology.
That's exactly why we're doing this. I've always said it's not about the total number of police officers you have, it's what you use them to do. And we have spent too much of our valuable police officer time in police stations where they're not effective. This is an example where I've said that we're going to reduce police officer numbers by 200, but in fact we'll end up with a more effective police service at the end of it. This is one of the ways that we will actually achieve that with fewer officers we will make them more effective, more efficient, more visible, and we'll end up with more police officer hours spent on patrol preventing crimes from happening.
Many struggling families in Immingham don't always realise that help is available, even if they're not on benefits. That's according to Elaine Norton, who runs the Daily Bread Food Larder, a food bank for desperate families going hungry. Elaine says many working families are struggling just as much as those on benefits, but don't know help is available because they're not in touch with referral agencies.
It is not just for people on benefits. This service is for anybody who finds themselves in an emergency situation and they're actually struggling to be able to put food on the table. Often working families, especially in Immingham, people are receiving tax credits if you've got a change in circumstances and your tax credit payments can be delayed. You know, as children move through school as well, they come out of education, situations change. It could be that your heating system breaks down. You can't afford to actually replace your heating system and feed your family as well. You know, but you've got, especially in the winter years, winter months, you've got to actually make sure that your house is warm as well as your children being fed. There's many circumstances that could contribute to it.
A 61-year-old man has died after being struck by falling masonry. The incident happened on Cliff Street in Bridlington shortly before 1 p.m. on Monday. Police and ambulance services attended, but the man died as a result of his injuries and police are currently supporting the man's family. A 99-year lease for 60 beach huts on Cleethorpes seafront has been put on the market. North East Lincolnshire Council owns the huts and the current occupiers have the right to continue renting the facilities at the current rate of £5 per year until 2041. But the council is looking for someone to buy all 60 huts, and after 2041 they'll have the option to renegotiate contracts or find new occupiers. Beach huts elsewhere in Lincolnshire fetch in excess of £20,000 and can be rented for nearly £100 a week in peak season. But the property agents tasked with selling the huts insist that the council will make sure they are protected.
I doubt it means knocking it down. In fact, I'm absolutely certain it won't mean knocking it down, because North East Lincolnshire Council is still going to take an active involvement in the beach huts. They form an important part of the Cleethorpes coastline. And I'm sure if you speak to anybody at North East Lincolnshire Council, they'll tell you that. Our role is to sell them on behalf of the council, to find a new partner who's happy to come along, invest in the Cleethorpes coastline and be able to offer people the opportunity to have a fantastic holiday here.
The LS Big Swing Band is putting on a tribute to Glenn Miller, a popular big band leader in America's swing era who produced hits such as Moonlight Serenade. The first event in Grimsby's Minster sold out in days and now a second one is being planned. Les Springfield, the founder of the band, outlined the popularity of Glenn Miller's music with people today.
Just one answer to that really, it's beautiful music. He was the founder of the big band sound, and people, whenever you mention Glenn Miller to anybody, they say, oh, I love Glenn Miller's music. It was a very, very popular, and it is still very, very popular. And the thing is as well, I think that the big band sound did die off a bit, but I really think it's coming back.
And that's all for me. Bye for now.
Thanks, Dan. Now, Lincolnshire is perhaps not known for its movie industry, but locally made film Grimsby RV hasn't just brought a touch of Hollywood to this region, it's announced local filmmakers on the international movie scene. I spoke to cast and crew to find out more. It took more than 100 actors and crew to make Grimsby RV, and at this star-studded event, most of them walked the red carpet at Cleethorpes Parkway to see the premiere of their handiwork.
I was really impressed. I was so impressed. I was sat there and I just enjoyed the film, which I never normally do when I'm acting in it.
It's been brilliant. I mean, it competes with the best of them, you know, in Hollywood, and I think that it's absolutely a fantastic job.
It was a short film made in just 30 days as part of the Action Film Challenge. It's by local production company Yellow Belly Films, uses local actors, and you may even recognise a few faces from local TV. Among them is the daughter of Prime Minister Hugh Ashby, whose anguish is proving that in times of hardship such as these, we really are all in this together. With aliens, spaceships, special effects and, of course, action, the awards came thick and fast for Grimsby RV. They watched the Florida Awards ceremony online as they picked up 14 of the 18 available, including Best Film.
We sat there and they announced the first one and we got nominated, so Tom got nominated for Best Actor and was like, yay! And then we were like looking at each other. And then the next one they announced was Best Supporting Actor and Sean got that. So we all were like, oh yeah, we knew he'd win. And then the next one was the actress, so we didn't get that. But then after that, it was just Grimsby RV, Grimsby RV, Grimsby RV, Grimsby RV.
It had quite an epic scale, the film, but you never know what you're up against. So, but there was enough cameras, enough action, enough good acting and stuff to make you kind of think that you might win it. So, but you never think about that when you're filming it. I mean, if you win that many at the Oscars, you'd be famous.
In fact, the movie was so successful, now they hope to extend it. They've used a crowdfunding website to raise funds which can make it long enough to enter into more film festivals and hopefully gain more international acclaim.
We're looking to raise £2,500. That'll help us finish the VFX, the visual effects. Then we were going to enter it in film festivals around the world. We want to probably nearly double the length of it at the minute because there's more story we want to put in there to make it better. So it's, see if we can get better acclaim for it.
So if all goes well, it's anything but the end for Grimsby RV. James Dunn, Estuary TV News. Cut. I think I'll stick to the day job. Now, next on the show, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Healthcare professionals use it to remind women to look for signs early, as early intervention can dramatically improve survival rates. And to find out more, I spoke to two ladies from the Pink Rose Suite at Grimsby's Hospital. So here with me today I have Dr. Sajjad, the Medical Director for Navigo. Thank you very much for speaking to me today, Dr. Sajjad. Please tell me a little bit more about schizophrenia. Is it just voices in people's head, as many people understand it, or is there more to it than that?
As you said, yeah, a lot of people think schizophrenia is about hearing voices or having some strange beliefs. However, it does not mean that the individual who has got schizophrenia would be presenting with either voices or just having some strong beliefs that are not considered to be normal for the normal general public. Or at times, they might rather present with feeling that they've been possessed by somebody else. Somebody else is controlling their actions, their thoughts, their emotions. This is what we call passivity phenomena. They might actually think that the things that are normal stimulation or coming as normal senses for some people, they might have some different meanings to that. However, when the disease progresses, people tend not to feel those symptoms that often. Rather, they become something we call negative symptoms of schizophrenia, which means that it's more about not having motivation to look after themselves, look after their surrounding, not being able to kind of undertake any recreational or any professional activities, and then it's not necessary at that time that they will be coming up with what we call hallucinatory experiences or delusional beliefs.
So those ones that we described initially were quite extreme symptoms, but actually the ones that you talked about afterwards, such as personal neglect, they can, I imagine, have just as negative an impact on people's lives.
They've got negative impact for themselves, for the family members around them, and for wider public. And those people actually can become a bit more difficult to recognize, because they might be considered as being just depressed or having something else going on in their life. But if they've got any previous symptom, as we described before, of any of schizophrenia symptoms, then it's mostly negative, what we call negative schizophrenia symptoms.
So some of the symptoms that you did describe to me seemed quite extreme. Is there a way back for people who do suffer from these symptoms? Can they lead a fairly normal life if they do get the right treatment?
People have been able to live normal lives. It all depends on the individual to be able to understand what the illness is about, how can they actually make full recovery or live a meaningful life having the illness as such. Sadly, the illness has got a chronic course. If somebody has got a schizophrenic illness, they are likely to suffer from it for a long duration of time. But there are a lot of management strategies available where we can actually control the symptom to the extent that they can actually live a normal life and normal, fulfilling life.
And are there examples of people who've gone on to actually do quite well despite suffering from schizophrenia?
Quite anecdotally, I would say there are a lot of people in our own local area in our services who are in quite, I would say, reasonable professional levels. They're still working, they've got diagnosis of schizophrenia. But if you want to research further, there are few celebrities and people who have been known in a wider world. They've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. Not too far away in the past, one of the American mathematicians was diagnosed with schizophrenia, who won the Nobel Prize. So yeah, if you got early recognition of the symptoms and you seek help at the appropriate time, there's no doubt that people can actually go on to live a normal, fulfilling life.
And do you think there is still stigma surrounding schizophrenia and how people react to it and the care available for people suffering from schizophrenia?
I think there is a stigma to quite an extent still prevalent in our societies, despite we've been kind of wanting to raise awareness and trying to do a lot of work around social inclusion of these people who suffer from schizophrenia. Yes, sadly, there are some misperceptions that these people can become unpredictable, violent, aggressive for no apparent reason. So yeah, people tend not to recognize the illness as illness and try to kind of exclude them. Yes, if it happens and if there are any emerging signs in any of the family members or friends, if you get them to be known to the specialist services or even by the GP, I think you've got a lot better chances of controlling the symptoms in a more effective way than if you leave it for longer.
What would your advice be to people who feel that they may be suffering from symptoms?
Let's not stay in denial or stay and be engulfed by the stigma. If there are any emerging signs, try to seek help, try to speak to the GP or to the local mental health services, because the outcomes are a lot more better if we actually do early detection and early management.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thanks, James.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today, but if you'd like to get in touch with a story or review, call us on Grimsby at 31553 or get in touch via Facebook, Twitter or email us on news@estuary.tv. Bye for now.